Pete Monfre here, and this is your moment of clarity. I had a client recently tell me he was looking for brutal transparency, and he wanted to be sure that I was up to the task of speaking truth to power. That's never really been a problem for me. In fact, I think it's one of my most valuable skills. I'm always reminding my clients that a company is really a bunch of human beings, but we tend to think of companies as monolithic entities that are somehow immune to the foils of its human inhabitants. I see it as just the opposite. Every company faces distinctly human characteristics of ego, competition, power struggles, competing beliefs, the list goes on. I have found that I'm in a unique position as an objective third party to help teams resolve these issues by simply telling them the unvarnished truth. Of course, I try to be diplomatic, but ultimately my focus is to help them solve their problems. There's nothing like a good dose of truth to get people moving in the right direction. One great example of this happened a few years ago. I was working with a $20 million industrial technology company, and part of my work was to interview a sample of their customers to better understand their perception, their buying criteria, all that marketing stuff. 68% of the customers I spoke with told me they dreaded talking to one of the founders of the company. A couple actually used the word dick in describing him. At the same time, when I asked, well, why do you work with him then? Each customer responded that Dave was the most knowledgeable person they knew in his specialty. I was faced with telling my client Dave that a majority of his clients thought he was a dick. And I remember thinking to myself, this should go over really well. But doing my job, I went and told Dave about my findings. His response was, well, I knew that already. And so we both laughed, and then quickly we got down to what was really going on. But I could tell that he was concerned about it. Dave was taking on too many duties. He was stretched too thin, and when a customer called with a technical question, it derailed what he was intensely working on, and he tended to be short with people on the phone. The solution was to have Dave delegate more work and use email as his primary communication tool. Was this technically marketing? Well, sort of. I found a significant problem that was hidden from my client and was impacting their growth. But the only way to resolve it was to cut to the chase and face up to the hard truth. The customers wouldn't share this information directly, and nobody on Dave's team would dare bring it up either. It's not because they feared Dave. They just didn't want the conflict because they have to work with Dave every day. So now Dave's happy, his clients are happy, everybody happy.